my voice? So we're going to be demonstrating several techniques that are going to be used tonight in various stations. So the first one is for whoever's making the frittata, and I talk about these are silicone pans. One thing with whole foods, plant-based with no oil, you have no butter, you have no fat, so things will stick. So you want to use things like parchment paper, parchment liners, and I find that these silicone kind of pans work really well because they pop out and things don't stick to it. But one of the little tricks I learned, because again, I could cook before, I was never anything exceptional, but I was used to using lots of things that flavored food. So learning how to flavor and make things not stick was an adventure. So the first thing is how to make this parchment paper fit here. So I learned by folding it over a couple times. Get this little cone, you stick it about in the middle here. You get your scissors.
Brilliant.
And then, ta-da! Oh, I cut the wrong end. I had one ready to go. So you make sure it's on the folded corner. Evidently it's getting late. I need to practice snowflakes. Alright, we'll try this again. In the middle, going around.
Ta-da!
Okay, genius. So when this goes in here, you don't need any oil or anything else. It's not going to stick, and then at the end you peel it off. You can use this for cakes, you can use it for anything. So that's tip number one. Next, washing leeks. How many here have used leeks before? So most of you are familiar. Leeks come, kind of grow into the ground here, and there are all kinds of dirt and stuff in it. So you're going to cut off one end. You're going to use mainly this part here, but you don't throw this part away. I put this in a big bag or a container and keep it in my freezer, and I keep throwing leftovers. There we go. This goes in the trash. To use to make stock. And for those who want to learn how to make stock, that will be our January edition. But we take the leek, I cut it in half, I just soak it in the water and peel it apart to get all the dirt from that goes in between that goes through. The dirt will sink to the bottom and then you can use your leeks. So whoever has the leeks. Next, jicama. So the next thing is chopping up jicama for one of the salads. This, if you don't have this tool, is the most wonderful tool in the kitchen. It is made by Silas and it's called a mandolin. But this is like a cheater's mandolin. It's maybe $20 on Amazon.
What's the brand?
It's Silas. Unbelievable. First of all, it doesn't use up a lot of footage in the kitchen. It washes really easy. It locks. You can keep it in the drawer. And somewhere in here is the little red part that goes on it. Mary? Oh. And it has 3 different settings from thin to medium to highest in thickness. So we're going to go down to about a 2. And if I just did this, I'd be slicing. But I don't want to slice. I kind of want to julienne. I slide this guy over and these little teeth pop up. And because I'm really like a bull in a china shop, I'm really klutzy, I have one of these. This is a Kevlar glove. I got this for my grandkids. I often will use 2 of them to avoid cutting myself. So this prevents, it's not going to do it completely, but it does most of it. I'm going to take the jicama. Jicama is going to be part of one of the salads that were being done, and you just go like this. You go back and forth, and you've got beautiful shredded. Takes seconds. To cut this up would take you forever. Saves you so much time. And again, washes easy.
What is it called again?
It's a Silas mandolin, and you can find it on Amazon. Cyliss, and they should be sending me something because I'm always promoting this product. So the next thing. Questions on any stuff so far? Another, totally washable, is when we are using spinach, and somebody's going to be using spinach in one of their demonstrations, one of their cooking areas, we often, this bag spinach, frozen vegetables are just fine right away. In fact, they're often healthier than fresh vegetables because they're picked right away and frozen up. And that's basically all that's in here is frozen spinach. But when you cook with it, they get a lot of moisture, and you want it to be really, really dry. How many of you tried that green dip in there?
Yeah.
That was actually an artichoke kale. I used frozen kale in there. And it was, and the other one was a tofu cashew. Those recipes are in there. So you just take a clean towel, you dump all your spinach in here, and the trick to making it taste really good so your dips aren't watery, so your frittatas don't get all icky and soggy, is you've got to drain it. So you can sit here and let it soak through and not much will happen. You can put it on a colander, it takes days, or you can put it in one of these and start squeezing, and squeezing, and squeezing, and
Aren't you
squeezing.
kind of getting the vitamins out of it?
And squeezing, and ripping the container. That one's squeezing really tight. Yes and no, if I was cooking a soup, I would do the whole thing. But here I'm looking for flavor, and there's also benefits to eating both raw spinach and cooked spinach. So a lot of your greens you want to eat both raw and cooked. So you keep squeezing it out. And who's the spinach dish? We're going to go. And you can see how much liquid. If I were to have used this straight in my lasagna, I'd have a real liquidy and ugly colored lasagna. So we're now ready to go. And then it's pretty dry. So it's a great way to add spinach to all your ingredients. And last but not least, and here you can throw that out. Now that I tore it. It's gone, poor thing. Is the miso. Now, if you have not used the miso, I pretty much have no oil, but once in a while you need a little something you're going to find a little oil. Sometimes it's a sesame oil for flavor, or sometimes it's to crisp something up. I'll spray with broth, and that works for a lot of things. But sometimes you want just a little hint of oil. So come down with this. You can fill this up with oil. Fills the container. You can run this part. I do run it through the top of my dishwasher. Close the whole thing up after it's filled up with oil. So you use your own oil from whatever oil you have. And then you start pumping. Remember all those exercises I've been doing? I keep saying the reason I've lost the weight is not so much the food as preparing it. So you wait until it gets a pretty good resistance here, and then, oh, that's still a little, this one's not spraying. When it starts getting like this, it needs a little, it should spray like a fine mist. So this one needs a little. Yeah, a little, it's time to run that one through. But that's basically a miso, and it allows you just to have a little bit. Now here's a little bit thicker, so you need a new miso spray jar.
You use just a fraction of what you would,
Yeah.
because it really does spread it out. Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, see, it's not,
supposed to spray. I don't know why it's not.
it's getting a little, you
tired.
need a new one. So those are basically some cooking strategies that you will be using tonight, and I will turn this over to Jim. Oh, this, when you get to the bottom of they found it, you can also use this piece here. But I find that to be the most effective.
So is that just easier than a grater?
You can do different things
It
with it.
does different things. So it allows you to slice real thin. I like to slice potatoes with it and put them in the microwave, make potato chips.
And then you get a uniform too. They're all the same.
Right, really uniform. Right.
Oh, those radishes that were out there, they were sliced on this.
Okay, so a couple things, just safety things. We wanted to let you know that there are sinks all over to wash your hands. There, that one in that corner, one in this corner, one over here. Also, there is a fire extinguisher and a first aid kit, which we won't need. but I'm just obliged to tell you. And then when you're finished with whatever you're cooking, if you could just bring it back to the back corner and rinse it off, and she'll actually do the dishes for us back there. So, yeah. So I'm going to show you a little bit about some knife skills. I do travel with my knives sometimes, camping or whatever, and one of the things that I think is really important is to protect it so that you have a really effective tool. The other thing is, to me, a good cutting board and a knife are the two best tools. And maybe the Vitamixer is a close second. But having something that will prevent you from slipping, so a non-slip surface like this. I actually have these grid things at home that I use, or I'll just use a towel, like a dish towel, but something so that you don't have a moving target, so that it's in place. Okay, so I want to show you just a couple tools. One, how to hold the knife, and then we're going to do a little bit of cutting. So you want to hold the knife so that you have control of it. So thumb on one side, finger on the other, and then wrapping your hand around it, okay? The other thing is to use the entire blade is really helpful. So I see people chopping like this or chopping like this, but if you actually use the entire blade, you'll see that that's what I'll be doing when I'm cutting. And then the safety feature that allows you to really have dexterity when you're cutting something is to curl your fingers, whatever you're holding, curl your fingers in so that the blade is actually touching your knuckles. So see how my fingers are really safe right here. I can get right next to the food and cut it, okay? All right, so a couple things on onions. I'm gonna show you how to do vertical sliced red onions, how to do moon sliced onions, and then just how to cut in general. Oh yeah, can you guys see me over there too? Move if you need to, whatever. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do, regardless of how you're cutting it, is you want to get a flat surface. So I didn't mention this in the last class, but say you're going to be doing entire circles of onions. You want the whole onion. You want to still cut a little teeny bit off the bottom so that you don't have this rolling surface, so it's safe. Okay, but we're gonna, for what we're doing today, we're gonna actually cut them in half. And you can keep, or I just need a little piece. And actually, this isn't really even garbage. You'll find in the next class, if you take it in January, we use all the parts. So even the skin, you can use in soups to make a stock. So we're gonna just take the one end off.
The garbage pile.
The soup stock pile. So take the papery part off, the outside, and then just the next membrane right next to it off. I like to kind of cut the outer surface to make it a little easier.
That's okay, she moved this so she could see, and I thought, look, okay, well.
I know, we need a mirror up here. I don't know how they've survived without a mirror in this kitchen, in our wish list. Okay, so once you get most of this off, move all the paper stuff off, we still have a connection here at the root. So it's gonna kind of help us. So it's gonna hold the onion together. And then what we're gonna do is slice it, vertically slice it. So we're doing a pomegranate salad that calls for red onions. And what you wanna do, I mean, usually for a salad you want it really thin, right? You don't want a big old honking bit of onion. So you're just slicing from the root back. Probably need to go thinner. And curling your fingers in. So see how it's all still staying in place because of that root at the end? Yep. This is kind of the pretty sort of cut for a red onion. And then at the end, you just cut the root off. And now you have all the slices ready for the salad. The other slicing, the half moon slicing, do the same thing of peeling it. It's much easier, takes less talent, and you can do either slicing for the salad. So taking the outer part off. And here's where I see people, when in cooking classes, I see a lot of people want to pull out the paring knife, and they're afraid to use a knife that's going to be really effective. This just makes the job so much easier and actually safer if you do it right. So again, you're going to grab the onion with keeping your fingers curled in, and then I rest the blade right next to my fingers like this, and I rocker it. So instead of it ever losing touch, it's continuously on the board. You see that? And how I'm using the blade to do the slicing. Not smashing it down, just running the blade through. See that? And just continuously moving it back, moving it back, moving it back. And then if you get to the end here, instead of just throwing that away, now you just turn it, slice it some more. So 2 different ways to slice the red onion. Now someone's gonna be needing that in their recipe. We should put that aside. We should be grabbing the bowl. Yeah, for a little container. Thank you.
Would that do?
That'll do. Perfect. Okay, now doing a whole onion, we're gonna do this a similar thing in that we're gonna cut the top off after we cut it in half. So we have that flat surface to work with, so it's safe, it's not rolling around. Cut the top off. Peel back the papery part. Okay. And then working from the root back, we're going to do what we did with that first one, kind of, but we're going to be cutting it down. So pretty quick slice. And then it's already divided for you, so all you have to do now is turn it in the other direction. And again, using the full blade, just chopping it up. Now, of course, if you get a big item like a watermelon, you're going to have to cut like this. But doing this is much more dangerous, and you're not going to get the same control of the blade that you would if you have the blade on the cutting board. And again, you get to the end here, you don't want to waste that, so you just cut that up.
So is there a brand of knife that you guys use?
No, I think everybody has their favorite. I like the Santoku knife, that's the shape of this knife. I also like, the last class I just used the French knife. These are the 2 knives I use the most. These 2. I almost never ever use a little teeny knife.
This is a new style. They call this the Japanese, and it doesn't have the same bolster as this one. And it took a little while, but this is the kind that I prefer. So it doesn't have, this is the bolster part over here. What you're looking for is the quality of the knife, and it goes all the way through. And it is an investment, but going to a store and trying them out, they'll let you try them out and chop different things, and you find one that works for you.
But store needs to try them out.
Sur la Table. Yeah.
What?
Sur la Table,
Williams-Sonoma. Williams-Sonoma. One of the things you want to always watch is that you keep the blade nice and protected. So I never just throw my knives around. When I'm finished, I wash them and I put them away so that they stay nice and sharp. And then I also hone it. I have a honing thing that every couple times I use it, I do.
How do you store it?
I store it in a block, or mostly in a block. But I try to put it in really carefully so it doesn't damage the knife.
No dishwasher.
No dishwasher for my good ones, no.
Do you want another,
What's that?
do you want another hotel pan for the white?
No, she's gonna actually be demonstrating something awesome next.
Okay.
This is Gina's gonna be
One other
showing
trick
you.
here. Oh, yeah. This just made me think about it. To save your knives, when you're scraping up, use the back end, and that protects your knife from getting dull.
And cutting, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll cut the other one later.
So I'm going to show you the Vitamix. Mine's not here, and yours is pretty. This is pretty similar. It's pretty similar to mine. Okay. So because we don't use milk, dairy products, cream is always a challenge. But we have ways to make whole food plant-based sour cream, cream cheese, whipped cream. You name it. We can make it.
It's even better.
Yeah. So usually what we use are cashews. And it's your call. Would you reach behind you and get that strainer for me? Yeah. Okay. So cashews make a really creamy substance. But first we have to soak them so that we can blend them up. So these have been soaked. I'm going to drain them and rinse them.
You just soak them overnight.
If that doesn't work, like you don't plan ahead of time, you can just microwave it, heat them up, and then leave them for 15 minutes. And you'll get the same stuff.
Or put them in boiling water for an hour or so. There's all kinds of ways. What I'm making is sour cream, and this recipe is going to be used with the sweet potato, or I'm sorry, the mashed potatoes, the healthy mashed potatoes. Kanisha and I do that. So whoever makes it, this part of it's going to be done for you. This is
What are you making?
I'm making sour cream. Okay? So the creamy part is going to be the nuts. And this is part of the sour part. So it calls for 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And I'm just going to estimate. I'm going to put the whole lemon in. Oh, look at everybody's got all my stuff for me.
That doesn't happen at home.
No, it doesn't happen at all. But it is really nice if you plan ahead to get everything ready and then start cooking. This recipe calls for 3/4 cup of water. So I'm going to put that in. It calls for 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. And it calls for half a teaspoon of salt. And we're just gonna guesstimate the salt. Scant, half a teaspoon. So then you put your lid on and start it slow. Put this on, okay. I have to turn my
Turn this.
Okay. Mine's a little different. Okay, June. What if I want to do it again? So now it's blending all the way. I can see. So with very little effort on your part, you now have a nice thick sour cream. Yeah. So you guys all get to taste this. So whoever's making the potatoes, use this. The next thing I want to show you, you'll have to come over to the.
She's already started heating it,
Cool.
so don't burn yourself.
Okay. You'll have to come over to the stove to see this. So if you can, move on over this way and. So what I'm doing here is a dry saute. I'm not using any oil. actually to get your pan hot enough. If your pan's not hot enough, the metal grabs your food and it sticks. If you get your pan hot enough, the pores close on the metal and it provides a surface that you can saute your vegetables on, and you get a nice brown vegetable with absolutely no oil. So the way I tell if my pan's hot enough is I put a little, like an 8 teaspoon of water in it. And oh, that's just right, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that little ball of water that holds together like mercury. See that? Step over and take a look.
What kind of pan are you using?
That's a stainless steel pan. So you can't really use this method. You can dry saute in a non-stick pan, of course. You don't use oil, it's non-stick. You go about it the same way, but you can't get the pan as hot. Not a non-stick pan. You have to follow the manufacturer's directions. You can't heat it this hot. The other thing you can use to dry saute is a well-seasoned cast iron. And I like to use cast iron quite a bit to you guys be careful of these two burners. If you want to like simmer anything, those burners are probably good, but they're very hot and they have to remain on for the stove to work. So if you step a little closer, you can see that it is it's not baking, but I am getting some browning of my vegetables. What you would do is if you were using oil, but there's absolutely no oil in it, and if you keep stirring, you can on this side, that's a little bit hot. You guys can see better. It'll start to stick when the pieces, turn caramelized, and at that point, you might want to deflate either with a little oil or a little broth, whatever, or wine, whatever you're using in the recipe. So I'm going to keep stirring this, and over there is a basket. Do you see that too?
Yeah.
Yep. And someone can pass that out. Those are the numbers, and they correspond to the recipes that are sitting around the room.
So what we want to tell you too is measuring devices are here. Knives are here. You may have some at your station already. And each station is set up with your particular recipe. We have a primary recipe that we're going through. And if you finish the recipe that you have, we have secondary recipes that will have you do as well.
If you need anything, we're going to be circulating around. We'll be helping you with anything. If you have any questions, anything that you need to get. And so as you're walking through your recipe, I strongly urge you, tip number 1, read through the whole thing first.
Yes,
Potatoes and mushroom.
ingredient, the last
the
one.
mushrooms, right. Yes.
Yeah, change the
Make sure
whole
you have all your
recipe.
ingredients in
You
there.
forgot one thing and changed the whole recipe. So we're gonna shoot for around, what, 8:20 or so? 8:30? Well, once you're finished with your dish, we'll bring it out and put it, well, actually, if you're making a salad, you can put it back in the refrigerator. Don't toss the dressing in until just shortly before we're ready to serve. And then try to, if you can, to try to have everything hot and ready
And when
over.
you finish your first recipe, it's fine. Jean will give you the second recipe to make. So we have several ones that come after. So when you stuff in the oven, you go back and you get to do something. All right, I need one person from couple, or if you're doing it by yourself, so yeah, come on up. And all the stations are numbered. It's kind of like a little scavenger hunt. You'll find your station you're going to get. Okay, who's ready? Who wants to go first? Sure, yeah. What did you get? All right. 2.
Number 2.
Gene, Gene, let me see it.
One for couple.
Yes, of course.
I don't have a pot holder, but
Oh, okay. Okay, I can see.
I'll get the pot. Any more?
Well, I don't know. Yes, Ben's birthday. We got
Here you guys go.
You know what? I'll come over here and look at it.
Can't find the bottle.
Great. Okay, do you want to say anything in closing?